Well, hello. It's been a little bit since we've talked about this topic, but today we are back here with the game I'm working on, the TTRPG I'm working on, Lawless Hearts. This, what you see right here, this is what we believe will be the final edition of the character sheet for Lawless Hearts. There's a lot going on, but this was the layout of the format, so we have scrolled the wrong way. We have your stats, your Wrath, Justice, Pride, Hope, Gluttony, Temperance, Greed, Charity, Sloth, Prudence, Envy, Faith, Lust, Fortitude, with all the skills associated. The line here is intended for you to put your saving throw bonus if you have proficiency in the save. This section is for your features and traits. Right here is for the armor you are currently wearing in your head slot, your body slot, and your leg slot. We have hit dice, creature types, your death saves, a flask, because depending on the drink you have will depend on the thing that happens when you take drinks from your flasks, your current buffs and debuffs, proficiencies, languages, background features, your character portrait with some character details. Here we have our passive skills, the ones that are probably more likely to use, so perception, persuasion, luck, determine, intelligence, and charm. Here is where you can write down the 2 drives that you have and how many drive slots you have as a total and how many you have checked off. You can only have a maximum of 5 anyways. Your character info at the top middle right here. Your attacks, your coins, and then your equipment. And in the center, as we've called it, the flower. It's where you have your max and current HP, your defense and speed, dodge, your arcane dodge, and your max and current stamina, as well as your proficiency bonus right in the center of the flower. So this is the character sheet, which we just finished. This is the main page, and if you are a spellcaster, you will be using this page. Spellcasting has had some changes, so it's no longer set up. Well, it is still set up in tiers, but you now will know less, but you don't know them only from your jurisdiction. I'll explain that if that becomes relevant at a certain point, but essentially just you put the stamina cost of the spell you're casting, the description, its casting time, its range, its duration, if it's concentration or not. Here we have your primary jurisdiction and secondary jurisdiction. So that's basic magic, stronger and weirder magic. If you're using an arcane focus, you can put what you're currently using here, as well as a mana max and mana current, which only applies to an arcane focus, which not everyone has to use. It's an optional thing. Down here shows where our magic stat is, because your magic stat can be any stat of your choice. Your spell save DC and your spell attack modifier, which just equals your proficiency. Here we have your secondary jurisdiction gimmick. This is your primary jurisdiction gimmick, so there's fun little gimmicks you'll play around with when casting your spells. But yeah, so I'm showing off this character sheet, which I think is really cool. But here's what we're actually going to do. I'm going to go through the process of making a level 1 character in this video and just showing how it works. So I just rolled randomly for the race and class. So we are making a Myconid, which is a mushroom person, and a weird, which is kind of like a sorcerer. Let's go ahead and go into this. Myconid weird, level 1. Character name doesn't matter. Alignment, we'll get to that at the end. Myconids are size 3. Background, we will choose that as we get to it. So, let's see. Give me just a second. Alright, I got my dice. So, we're going to first start off with the stats. Now, they don't have to go in the exact order you roll them when doing this, but I'm just going to put them in this order because I'm not really caring about this character too much. This is just to show you how things work. So when you're rolling for stats, you're going to roll a d6, and then you're going to roll a d4. And you will subtract the d4 from the d6. So here's how this works. I'm going to roll. I got a 4 and a 3, so that means this is a +1. This should be bigger. Give me 2 seconds. And you'll do this for each stat. So that one is a +3. that one's a good one. It's a +4 here. And then a 6 and a 2, which would make that another +4. Ah, there's one. A -1. So essentially when you're doing it this way, you can get anywhere from a -3, got a +0 there, to a +5 when you're rolling stats. But I think that makes it kind of fun. Speaking of a +5, I just got a +5. So let's say these don't have to be exactly in the order, because this was just the order I rolled. They don't have to stay in this order, but for this, I will put it in this order. So this is a very charismatic character with a good amount of greed and greed, charity, gluttony, temperance. We'll decide on those near the end, what we want them all to be of their focus. But yes, we'll put their stats there. Now then, we're going to go into their features and their traits. So here we have the page of the myconid and everything we have here. So we have in the myconid what they look like. Myconids are humanoid fungi, typically ranging from 4 to 6 feet tall. They are creature type plant humanoid, speed 6. They get a +1 to their sloth prudence, and they know common and shroomish. So if we go ahead and head back here, they get a +1 to their gluttony temperance. Creature type is plant humanoid. We can bring this back down to 6, unbold. And their speed is 6. So stuff like that. Yeah, speed 6, size 3, common, shroomish as their languages. So the languages, they will know common and shroomish. Now, common works just like D&D. It's just, the basic language that most everyone knows. Still not enough. You can tell I did not plan this out very well. I'm just going for it because I want to. So yes, we get that. They get their history, society, their age and their average height. And then here's the actual features. So myconids are proficient in medium armor and shields, which means they can use medium armor and shields. We'll explain the numbers. Will not be explained in this video. They'll be explained in another one when I get into the actual game. But they have proficiencies in, go over here, 10, medium armor, shields, which is good because they're going to be a spellcaster. They get small nimble, which increases their dodge total by 1. So we'll put that in there, small and nimble. And they get poisonous spores, which is a whole thing where they have, they can spend they get resistance to poison and can spend an action to fill an area with a spore cloud, which can do some poison damage and poison people and give them the poison condition. So we got poisonous spores. I don't care if that's spelled wrong. I do care that it's spelled wrong. Give me a second. I'm just gonna do this lazily. Poisonous spores. So, in terms from the stuff from your race, that is pretty much it. So next, the next step you would do during this is choosing your background. Now, I also randomly rolled for this, so the current backgrounds in this game, they're most of the D&D ones plus 1 or 2 other ones. So we have the Urchin, which gives them a +1 to your greed, charity, and a few other things. They're going to get some stuff they can put into equipment. Let's go ahead and shrink this down to this, unbold, and paste this all. It's going to go like crazy, but that's fine. Give me just a second to make it look pretty enough. That happens sometimes. Increase that. So just... Alright, so there's our equipment. That you get started off from your background, being an urchin, you get 10 coins, you know, some stuff you expect. Then you also get, you know, background features, which I won't go into explain because a lot of this stuff is likely to change, but, you know, you would write down what your background feature is and what it possibly do. I'm just going to write down what they are in this scenario. City secrets and swindle, which these are mostly just passive features and things that can happen and things you can do. But yes, that's going to be that. And now we're going to go ahead and go into the class. So remember, we are a weird, which is something similar to a sorcerer. We'll explain more of the details when we actually get there, but essentially you're a weird, which is a spellcaster. So we're going to go ahead and get into the things that the weird can have. So the weird will have its, in terms of its feature, its primary jurisdiction. This is way too big right now. Okay, it is 10. Primary jurisdiction and weirdness affliction, which is your subclass. Every single class in this game gets their subclass at level 1 because in a lot of cases it feels weird to not have your subclass at level 1. So, because that's kind of much more of your focus. So, they will have that. That was weird. Okay, so I just did a little bit of stuff here to go ahead and just do some stuff real quick. So, being a weird, you got access to light armor. You can proficiency in light armor and a few weapons, which I'm not going to put in here. But your hit dice total is a d6, which means at level 1, your health max HP is 6, plus your gluttony temperance, which puts us at 11 max health. Your dodge is equal to 10 plus your pride hope, which would make it 13. Arcane dodge is your dodge minus 5, because other things might apply to your dodge. Then you have your speed on your race. Your maximum stamina, always at level 1, is 10. But as a weird, you get proficiency in gluttony temperance saves and envy faith saves, as well as I marked out 4 skill options you have. So animal handling, charm, corruption, and persuasion, the ones that I marked off. So in terms for this stuff, most of that stuff is done. We have this right down. Now we're going to choose the drive. So starting level 1, you only have 1 drive slot that you only have 1 drive slot total. You can get more as you level up. It's an optional thing. But we're going to go ahead and put in our drives. So drives are always options. So as you see here, it says drive 1, drive 2. Really, you have each class has 2 different drive things they can pull from, and they choose one from each of those options. So the weird has access to the chaos drives and the weird drives. So let's go ahead and just... Alright, we're going to go chaos dice here, and let's make this nice and small. Unbolden. Move things around. So we have, you know, from our first option from the chaos drives, we get chaos dice. Upon spending a drive, you get a number of chaos dice. D6s equal to your proficiency bonus. These chaos dice may be spent at any time within the next hour as a reaction to add or subtract from a d20 roll made by someone within 6 spaces of the user. So that's one of them. Then we're going to go ahead and go to our weird drive. And we're going to go ahead and pick up weird guard. So we got kind of a support and then a defense drive here. So weird drive, upon taking weird damage, you may spend a drive to become resistant to this damage, and the creature that caused you to take this damage will take the same amount of weird damage that you took from that source. Essentially, you split the damage up and make the attacker also take the same damage if it's weird damage. So we have 1 total drive slot, and you can only have 1 unspent one. Character name doesn't matter. Player name, who cares right now? It's me. I'm the only one here. So after that, let's get some equipment. So in terms of weapons, I'm not going to worry about that. That's not super important. We're going to just go ahead and go with our armor, just so I can show defense, how that works. So we have a head, body, and leg slot, and as every single class, almost every single class, gets access to picking up any starting armor. Weird is included in that, so let's go ahead and get some starting armor that we are proficient in. And you can take armor you're not proficient in. If you're not proficient in armor, you will suffer consequences depending on the armor, but that's a different video. So because we have proficiency in medium armor, we can actually take all medium starting equipment, which a medium helmet gives 1 defense, a medium chestplate gives 2, and medium legwear gives 3 defense. Because these both get 2. Sorry, not 3. So we go ahead and take this, go over here, increase this size, hit bold. So give us a defense of 5. It is not the same size as everything else. So this defense will reduce incoming damage from physical attacks by an amount equal to your defense to a minimum of 1. So it can help out with the fact that, dodges your chance to hit. It's not going to typically be as high as it will be in D&D, but to make up for that, you will take less damage from attack rolls. So this is most of the stuff we really need to worry about. There's weapons, but we're not worried about that right now, because I don't really. I rolled a class that is a spellcaster, so we don't really have to actually worry about having to possibly get this. So let's just say height and weight. It's like they're 5'1". This is way too big. 5'1". Let's say they're like, this is mushroom people, so they wouldn't be super heavy. Let's say like 98 pounds. Eye and hair color. Well, actually, hold on. We already have Art of the Myconids, so might as well just use this for the character portrait as an example. It also kind of fits. I mean, sure, it's a little bit more druidic, but it also still kind of fits for a spellcaster. So we can put them down in character portrait with some of this information, which really only leaves us with the last few things, which is saying we're doing this as a spellcaster. Let's go ahead and choose what kind of spells they have. They have 3+5s because of, wow, I actually randomly rolled, and it just turned out that the things that I got the 4s in are +5s. So this is actually a really good character. Just don't have them do any smart things, because they're not exactly the smartest, saying intelligence falls under sloth prudence. So let's go ahead and choose some spells, then we'll get to the very last bit of this. So let's say they're spellcasting as this mushroom person. Let's say they use Gluttony Temperance. We don't know which of the two it is yet, but you can either do that, or you can do an abbreviated version. However you want to do it, you have space to work that out. Almost. Your spell save DC, this is just like D&D. It'll be 8 plus your proficiency plus your spellcasting, so as this will be a 15. Your spell attack modifier, this is only your proficiency bonus. Unless you get something to improve it, which there can be things that can do that. But as starting out, it is only your proficiency bonus. So, primary jurisdiction, I'm not really going to worry too much about. You'll get a few spells here. Not going to worry about it. I just wanted to show that you choose whatever stat you want for this. Despite the fact that they're based off a sorcerer, they're not using their charisma, they're using their bodily health, their bodily strength to do it. Let's just go ahead and get to this final little thing you'll do. So when making a character, how do I want to do this? I don't know why there's these lines. Making a character, you are going to choose between your wrath, between the sin or the virtue for each stat. When doing this, let's see. I don't know why those lines are there. I've never seen that before. My dog just made a noise. But when, essentially, yeah, you'll do this. So you determine which one is more important to the character when you're making it. The sin or the virtue. And this allows you to build off and make your alignment from this. But which is more important to them. So this character, let's say, they're kind of a little bit of an adorable being. I don't think they'd be very wrathful. I think they'd be much more into justice. So there'd be Justice. Is this gonna work? Yeah, that works. I just drew a very straight line. I think that's part of this thing that's going on. But between Pride and Hope, also, yet again, I think this character's gonna be pretty hopeful. Gluttony and Temperance. Now, as much as I want to say Temperance, I think this is much more of a Gluttony character. Greed and Charity. Let's see, they were an urchin. There's also kind of the things to think about when making a character. I'm not really thinking about it too hard because I'm just saying what is more like them. I think this person is going to be more greedy. Sloth and Brutus. Now, what's interesting is when it's a negative, is this is much more of a flaw to this character. So, let's make them a lazy kleptomaniac. And then Envy, Faith. I think they're pretty faithful about things. And then Lust, Fortitude. We're going to go with Fortitude. They're willing to withstand and do things. So we have each of these options: Justice, Hope, Gluttony, Greed, Sloth, Faith, Fortitude. So there's a chart currently in the document we're working on that shows, depending on the underline, will depend on an attribute you can apply to your alignment. So alignment is built using only 2 of the ones. So these are everything we have: fair, humble, excessive, selfish, lazy, compassion, and pure. Now, because I like more of it for the fun of it, I'm going to say let's go with lazy because they have the negative in their sloth prudence. So lazy will be part of their initiative. And I want to say excessive because they use their gluttony for their spellcasting. So lazy excessive or excessively lazy would be this kind of character. Or we can go for like a lazy compassionate. Or lazy compassionate. Let's go with that. Lazy compassionate. So uses their sloth and their faith for it make this. It doesn't matter these are their worst 2 stats. It can be any. It's just for the fact that this is what they are. So they are a lazy compassionate. If it ever wants to show up. So yeah, they are a lazy compassionate. All right, so there we have. Just from building this character alone, you kind of know a little bit about them. You know that they are lazy but caring, and but a lot of that caring is most likely towards themselves and towards just getting more things for the sake of getting more things. You know that they have the ability to cast spells. They've lived on the streets, and they are a little hardier than most people would expect a mushroom person to be. So this is this character. This is kind of how building a character works in this. This isn't everything because, I mean, yes, we didn't really go over weapons. We didn't go over what spells they have because that's a whole other process. But this is kind of a little bit of how creating this works. And coming up in the next few days, I will start to do more videos, probably just about different parts of this game and how this whole thing is going to work. So, let me know what you all think about this, and what you think about the actual character sheet. And just so you can see it again, here's the character sheet back again where it was blank. So yeah, let me know what you all think about how this is. And yes, just a reminder about this game, the reason why it's kind of some of the way it is. This is kind of like fantasy D&D, but imagine it takes place in like the 1870s kind of Wild West kind of era. Money is a little harsh, but you know, everyone's out for either thinking on justice or looking out for themselves with different raids and cowboys and guns and gold rush and all that kind of stuff. This is kind of what this game era is taken around, but doesn't mean it has to be played during that era. It just makes a little bit less sense with the flasks and drinks, but you can also make that, if you want to make this old fantasy, you could. It's just that there's, you know, guns pre-built into the weapons and stuff, and there's a whole class based around using guns. But yeah, we'll go over more of this stuff. There's a lot of stuff in this game. There's like 15 classes. There's 15 or 16 classes, 25 different races. Me just being way over the top with everything and going way too far with how much I'm making and driving myself crazy. But I don't mind. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time making all this. But yeah, let me know what you think about this and spread the word to other people. I want this channel to grow. I'm not great at doing a lot of this myself. I'm not great at, making it people want to click on videos. I'm not great at all that stuff. So that kind of advice would also be helpful. I mean, I'm just not great at that, but that's not my specialty. My specialty is I write a lot and I write fast. So, yeah, this is what most likely is going to be the final character sheet for our game that we are making. Thank you for watching.